I call this meeting to order at 6:01 on February 9th, 2022. We'll begin with a roll call. Please say here or present once I say your name. Advait. Present. Adagarla. Ulrich. Brecht. Blythe. Carter. Here. Claiborne. Here. DeVore. Filippi. Finaldi. Here. Goff. Haas. Larson. Here. Lent. Mahoney. Here. Mays. Here. McCready. Patel. Here. Paulson. Here. Ruley. Schnepp. Here. Seth. Here. Sayaway. Skaggs. Stout. Strickland. Here. Thornton. Wagmeister. Weathers. Here. Move on to the Pledge of Allegiance led by Speaker Weathers. Now we'll move on to the program for this evening. We'll invite the Student Union Board up to the podium. Please keep your laptops closed for the presentation. Thank you.
What about now? Okay, yep, okay, cool. Anyway, sorry, earlier I was saying I am much smaller than this microphone. Okay, so hi everybody, my name is Alyssa Rodriguez. I am the Vice President of Administration for the Student Union Board. As I'm sure you guys all know by now, the Student Union Board is Iowa State's premier event programming board. So we've got an executive board member of about executive board consisting of about 15 members. And today I'm just going to be going into our national events contract. So to begin, on behalf of the Student Union Board, I would like to show with sincerity how appreciative we are of student government and how appreciative we are of the funds that you guys allocate to us, not just for this contract that I'm going to discuss, but also the general funds that are allocated for us as well. For this discussion, I will be providing a timeline as well as an expenditure breakdown. I'll also be highlighting where our organization is going from here. And just for reference, again, as I'm sure you guys all know, the contract began on July 1st of 2020 and will continue on until June 30th of 2023. So just as a small disclaimer, we unfortunately have not been able to utilize the contract as best as we would have wanted to or as we originally planned in 2020. In 2020, when this contract was initiated, our organization had not anticipated the forthcoming staffing changes, rising artist costs, and of course, the challenges of the pandemic. But nonetheless, we have still been able to bring additional programming we otherwise would not have been able to do without this contract. So once again, thank you. Okay, so to begin our timeline and expenditure breakdown, I will start you all off at July 1st of 2020, again, when this contract was started. So contract begins, Iowa State students, and that includes, our sub-executive board members, are at home for the summer and have been at home since March because of the pandemic. In the midst of this pandemic, with uncertainty as to when it would end or when we would receive any updates about what was going on, our executive board at the time remained hopeful for the fall semester. That brings us to August 27th of 2020 when we had Lenin Stella virtually. So Lenin Stella is an indie pop singer-songwriter known for her tracks with Liam Payne, Jonas Blue. She was seen on the musical drama TV show Nashville, and before she went solo alongside her sister, she was in a duo called Lennon and Maisie. So the Lenin Stella virtual kickoff concert, Lenin was contracted for 75 minutes total. So that was about 35 to 45 minutes of a musical performance and then 35 minutes of a moderated conversation. And just for reference, 75 minutes was the industry standard at this time. We had 195 people signed onto Zoom, and we were able to track this via our Zoom account. However, we do anticipate a much higher number because of how many people were present on multiple screens. So we know for a fact that there was more than just the number of people signed on because of this. And to go into monetary, Lenin Stella was flat rate $21,500 plus additional smaller marketing and logistical costs, which apply for all of our entertainment and talent. Then we move on to October 26th of 2020. We've got Chase Rice. Chase Rice is a country singer known for his hit singles Ready, Set, Roll and Eyes on You. He was also a contestant on CBS's reality competition show Survivor. And Chase Rice, again, allocated for 75 minutes, and that was 35 to 45 or to 40 minutes of musical performance and then 35 minutes of the moderated conversation. And his turnout was 200 logged into Zoom, but I'm going to repeat myself a lot during this. We anticipate and know that there were more than 200 people because of how many multiple people were on multiple screens. And the total cost for him, flat rate, was $20,000 plus minimal promotional and logistical costs. So that was for the fall 2020 semester. We then move on to spring 2021. And at this point, our executive board is looking toward potentially coming out of the pandemic. While still providing some virtual programming, we look to bring back in-person entertainment in a manner that was safe for our members, the students, and the talent that we were bringing to Iowa State at the time. Amidst all other programming that the Student Union Board does, reconstructing our new executive board member, because we do bring on new executive board members each spring. So we had a completely new board. And of course, the current pandemic challenges, we were unable to direct our focus on bigger national events. But in order to still do better by our money and provide students with a bigger show, as well as provide our board with the experience of booking a larger show, we brought back our previously annual student singing competition, Cyclone Voice. So we utilized the funds to take the event to Stevens Auditorium, not only to allow for social distancing, but also to, again, give our board an opportunity to work and facilitate within a larger venue. And then we also use these funds to bring in our host, Nash. So that moves us to April 23rd of 2021, where we had Nash as our Cyclone Voice host. Nash is a pop musician and songwriter. He's best known for his hit single, I Hate You, I Love You, and his collaboration with Max on the song Lights Down Low. So Nash was a little bit different than Lennon and Chase because we did actually have the opportunity to bring him to Ames, which was amazing. He was contracted to host and MC the actual event. So that included like coming out and, talking with the crowd, introducing all of the 14 contestants that we had competing at the show, and also working with the contestants as far as like giving them encouraging advice on what they performed, and just like talking to them. So, and then he had 30 minutes of live musical performance. And then, as I kind of mentioned, the meet and greet with our programming board and all 14 of the contestants. So he brought in approximately 220 students in audience members. And In addition, we had 20 students compete in the preliminary round, which was hosted in the maintenance shop, and then 14 of those students were selected to move on to the final competition, again hosted by Nash. These students were also offered the opportunity to work on site with him, which was awesome, and that consisted of just being able to have personal conversation and receive encouraging advice. So out of everything that I've just talked about, at that point, we had spent $72,000 total through staff departures and the Student Union Board continuing to rebuild and the pandemic, and with the multitude of other events that we also host that aren't a part of national events. Sub was unable to bring national events to the fall 2021 semester. So now I'm going to give you guys a little bit update as to where we are now and what our plans are for the future. So as we move through this semester, we once again have a brand new board because we do bring them into the spring. But I can say that we are very excited about this board and its ongoing potential. This is my third year serving on the executive board, so I've seen a few boards and I am so excited about this one. They are making great strides in recruiting a bigger team member population and higher audience attendance. We are looking forward to cultivating and facilitating a larger Cyclone Voice program again this semester, and we are in the process of researching what potential artists we want to have as a host, and eventually we will make that decision. And Cyclone Voice is scheduled for Thursday, April 14th, 2022, so please put that on your calendars. Going forward, we have had and do have plans for how we will ideally use the additional national events funding that Sub receives. We hope to get that going this coming fall semester. Our plans include getting back to hosting a decently recognized artist at a fall kickoff concert, a larger named act, likely a comedian for Winterfest, and hopefully, with funds allowing, as large of a spring concert as we can afford. This will likely be held in Hanson or another large campus venue. The issues, however, that we are anticipating include continuing to rebuild the board and retaining members to be able to support these large-scale events, but also fully support, again, the plethora of other weekly events that we put on. Also, maximizing the funding allocated and booking the best acts available amidst continuously increasing artist costs and artist needs or expectations. Those increasing artist needs and expectations, as well as their costs, they greatly limit the availability of the artists. And so that's also a factor in setting appropriate discounted tickets prices, which are necessary for revenue to continue programming at the highest level possible. So just to close up, the Student Union Board is proud to serve its students by continuing to provide them with free to low cost events and entertainment that suits everyone. And we look forward to presenting here again a year from now and hopefully being able to tell you guys about a successful kickoff concert and a successful Winterfest show, and hopefully give you guys the detail, and I'm going to use the word hopefully, on our upcoming spring concert for 2023. At this point, I am done, so I guess I open up to questions.
Question from Finance Director Zastro.
Over here.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Oh, thank you. So for FY22, Sub's not intending to have the $25,000 bonus for the national event?
no, we are not.
Okay. And then, so the 3 events that have been so far was the $21,000 for the first event, $20,000 for the second, and about $30,000 for the third. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Lenin Stella was $21,500, Chase Rice was $20,000, and then Nash was $22,000. Sorry if I forgot to mention Nash's cost.
You said 25?
22.
22? Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Speaker Weathers.
Hi, Elizabeth. I'm up here.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Thanks for coming and presenting to us.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, even though you're contractually obligated to. It's still nice. I guess my main question is, you haven't been able to use the national events funding the past couple of years, but you're planning on utilizing that now, correct? Like you said.
Yeah, so
Okay.
of course we've used it in the best way possible given the pandemic, which has really been kind of the biggest stressor that I know none of us were anticipating on happening. But looking forward, we're hoping, as we've been hoping these past semesters, that the pandemic will not become as big of an issue. So yeah, as mentioned, the fall kickoff concert, we're planning on having Winterfest, we're planning on having, and then the following spring, the spring concert.
Okay, thank you. I too hope that COVID doesn't become a problem again.
Yeah.
I guess either a question for you or your advisor, are there any changes you'd like to see made to the contract in future years, or how do you feel it functioning now? Are there any changes you'd like to see in the relationship, or the partnership, I suppose, between our organizations?
I don't think that grammatically or amendment-wise we need to see any changes within the contract. As I said, we appreciate you guys wholeheartedly, and we would love to see any relationship between student government and student union board increase. So we look forward to hopefully being able to build upon that relationship. But as far as the contract goes, I don't believe so. This has worked pretty well for us in the past, but my advisor can speak on anything that he thinks is different.
Thanks. Yeah, I would agree with Alyssa on that. I think StuGov is very appreciative of the funds they receive. The main one is, and they can work with what they have, and with some ticket revenue in there, they can hopefully stretch that $100,000 that they get to be more like $200,000 worth of shows with some ticket revenue and things in there. But that's acts that we can find and get and that are willing to travel to Iowa and perform in person are fewer and farther between these days. Hopefully that gets better with decreasing pandemic issues and things like that. And then the cost is astronomical of what these artists cost to perform. So that $100,000 doesn't go nearly as far as any of us would like it to. But once again, I think StuGov has a good plan to bring in good shows that hopefully still have low ticket prices for students to make some revenue to do the next big show. But I don't think, and then just the capacity of StuGov and the staffing, I don't think they're going to be doing regular big shows all the time, but kind of the kickoff concert, Winterfest entertainment, and hopefully a bigger spring concert would be kind of their goal right now, as they've talked about, amidst cyclone cinema, M-Shop shows, comedy, after-work entertainment, and everything else they do on the regular. So yeah, they can 100% work with it. It doesn't go nearly as far as they would like it to, but they can 100% work with the contract they have, and they know funds are limited as well that you all are dealing with. So.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we completely recognize that student government's hands are kind of tied as far as funding goes a lot of the time, especially with declining student enrollment rate and such. So we're appreciative of all the funds that we can get, and we look forward to utilizing it as best as we can. So.
Okay, I appreciate it, both of you. I look forward to seeing what you guys are able to bring to campus this year, I guess next year rather.
Are there any other questions tonight for our speaker? Seeing none, thanks so much for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Moving on to open forum. Open forum is an open discussion of issues relevant to students. If you'd like to speak, please approach the podium. Please say your name and college.
Madam President,
Yes, Vice Speaker Debate.
I move to add Senators Wagmeister, Senators Brecht, and Senator McCready to the roll.
Is there any objection? Okay, they've all been added to the roll. Is anyone here for open forum this evening? Seeing none, we'll move on to adopting tonight's agenda. Is there any additions or changes for the agenda for tonight? Vice Speaker Debate.
I move that we reflect the suggestions made on the agenda into the agenda for tonight on screen.
Is there a second? Any objection? Great. The bills have been added. Is there any other additions or changes for tonight's agenda? Is there a second? Great. Seeing none, tonight's agenda has been adopted. Moving on to the approval of minutes from last week. Is there a motion to approve last week's minutes? Seeing no objection, last week's minutes are approved. Going on to committee reports, beginning with rules with Speaker Weathers.
All right, welcome back to another riveting week, everybody. Rules met last night. I kept it within the hour, which is still surprising to me. But we had our 4 confirmation hearings, 3 of which were senators, 2 engineering senators, and an LAS senator, all nominations, of course. But We also had a Supreme Court nomination that we'll see tonight. Every confirmation hearing we saw was sent to Senate favorably by way of unanimous consent, so there's no problems there, even after spending, I think, half the meeting, half an hour, interviewing all the candidates. So they have the committee's seal of approval, I suppose. Then we also looked at 2021-3-008Y, which you'll notice is stricken from the agenda. That's because it was held within committee for 1 week. Vice Speaker Debate has an exam. Academics come first tonight. So he probably would not have been around to debate the bill that he authored. And it's a bit of a complicated bill, so we thought we'd hold it in committee. There's also some work that the committee wanted to do on it over the week, so that'll probably be reflected when we see it next. Additionally, we made it through Chapter 3 of Bylaw Review. It's been slow going. It's a task that the committee is charged with, is going through the bylaws every year and making sure it's up to date. We're also trying to make it more accessible. I think that's a problem a lot of you have run into. It's a problem I ran into when I joined Senate. That's a long document. It's very wordy. Anything we can do to ease that problem, we're trying to do. So if you see anything as we go through bylaw review, if you see anything in the bylaws that doesn't match up, the numbering's wrong, something doesn't make sense to you, whatever, bring it to someone on the committee's attention. Otherwise, I think that's all I have.
Moving on to Finance Committee with Finance Director Zastro.
Howdy, y'all. So yesterday, Finance Committee met. Sorry, I have not sent out the memo for today. We'll get that out before the end of the meeting tonight. We saw 2 bills, and also, sorry, you will not have minutes. Our clerk yesterday got caught with a flat tire in Des Moines, so she was not able to be there. She'll be transcribing those. So we saw the bill funding transportation and conference registration for the National Society of Black Engineers sent out favorably with amendments. And we also saw Cricket Club's transportation bill and registration for competitions. That one also has some pretty significant amendments, also sent favorably. Annuals is coming up. I've been pretty busy. If you have any questions about finance stuff, you can stop in during any of the budget help sessions. The time for that is written on the whiteboard in the Senate office. It is also on the website. Yeah, annuals are going pretty well so far. There are about 30 groups that did not come through last year that are coming through this year, which is exciting because we're getting more involvement, and it's also scary because more groups are asking for money, so there's less money to go around. But that's something that we're happy to tackle if it means that more groups are able to get some level of supplemental funding from student government. So I think we're all pretty excited about that as that comes through for the next couple weeks.
Moving on to PR Committee with our Director of Outreach.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. So first of all, our tablecloth for the new StuGov tablecloth is on its way. Still waiting on it. So once we get that in, I'll start making tabling schedules so you guys will be able to get your outreach credits in much easier. Additionally, we have the town hall event, which I believe she will be touching on. And we do have 2 PR events for Meet the Candidates. We do have one in the South Ballroom on February 15th from 11 to 1. And our second one is on the 24th from 5 to 6:30. Both will have food, and both, I believe, are confirmed with the MU. Giveaway baskets are going well. I believe Election Commission may touch on that. But other than that, we're doing well.
Moving on to diversity. Oh, excuse me. Speaker Weathers has a question.
Sorry, Chase. Sorry, Christian. You mentioned election question. So I guess a quick question for you or anyone on PR who's knowledgeable. But I'm sure many of you in the room saw the daily article that came out touching on low knowledge in the student body about student government and what we do, things like that, which is obviously abysmal if we purport to represent the student body. And obviously it's all of our jobs in here to increase that. But I guess I was just wondering if PR had talked about that, discussed any means of remedying that, or if there's any plans for a future discussion on that.
We have not currently talked about that, but that is certainly on our next agenda with our next meeting, which will be coming up very shortly. But other than that, we are going to be pushing that with all of our tabling, and I will reach out to you later and have a program about Outreach 101, what to chat about, how to do it. So with that, we'll be better equipped to educate students more about our finances.
Okay, I appreciate it.
On to Diversity and Inclusion Committee with Director Booman.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again. I am alive and well from my chicken pox. But yes, it's glad to see everyone. So we have had a lot of great things happen this week. We have 3 new at-larges over there. Hopefully that will be seated today. They are extremely qualified and are great candidates. So I'm very excited for you to hear what they have to say. A couple events that we have coming up, as Christian mentioned, the Multicultural Town Hall event is finalized. It will be on February 24th, which is a Thursday, from 7 to 8:30. Doors open at 6:30 in the Cardinal Room here in the MU. There will be food. I do have a list somewhere on my laptop. Director Sun has been fantastic in arranging food with ISU Catering, so he's not here, but big shout out, Tom, because you are awesome. We also, speaking of outreach, I will be hosting a special presentation of the Election Commission presentation for the senatorial information. I spoke with Chase. He was able to give me the training. And so next Wednesday, February 16th, in the Multicultural Center here in the MU, from 7 to 8:30, I will be giving this presentation. It's a little bit of everything encompassing student government. So I'm going to talk about student government, what we do, the breakdown, all the committees, the positions, the responsibilities. This is targeted towards marginalized students, but it is open and encouraged for everybody to attend. I know, like you said, that this has been a big issue because students don't necessarily know what student government is. And so I do have a couple graphics. They're on the DEI committee Instagram. The PR committee has them as well. They helped me create it, so thank you, PR committee. But yes, please spread the word. Please encourage as many students to come. I just want students to be aware of student government, even if they don't necessarily want to run, just so they know what we do and how we can help. So yes, those are the big things that are coming on. We also did start drafting the Senate reform bill with Jacob. Thank you very much. We have gotten a lot of interest from student organizations. So yeah, a lot of very exciting stuff going on. So stay tuned for next week.
Moving on to Student Initiatives Committee with Senator Seth.
Happy week 4? Is it 4? I don't know. Time is an illusion to me. We had our regular meeting on Monday and did some planning for some events that we have coming up. So we've 98% finalized the date, time, and location of the trivia night that we are wanting to host in the coming month. So y'all should mark your calendars now. We'll be doing our trivia night on March 3rd from 6 to 8 in probably room 3560 in the MU. So very excited about that. It's going to be really cool. Who doesn't love trivia? I know a lot of you go to trivia, so you should come to our trivia because it's going to be really awesome. And I also interviewed a new person to be an at-large. So there's a bill seating them to the committee tonight. So hopefully that comes through. So we'll have another at-large in our committee. And we just did some more project planning for the rest of the semester. That's about it. If you have any questions, let me know.
Moving on to Civic Engagement Committee with Senator Paulson.
I do not have any updates this week, but I will next week.
Comments from the Student Government Advisor with Sophia.
Okay, hello everyone. I hope you're doing well tonight. Just a few things. It is some of the last it's the last few days to register for aisle before Saturday. It is here in the Memorial Union from 11 to 4:30. If you are available that day and want to connect with students from all over Iowa at the Regents and Regent institutions, I would highly recommend it. You can find more information on the student engagement website, stugov.iastate.edu, you know the website. Beyond that, if you are planning an event in the upcoming weeks, I've heard a few of them, if you would like to meet with me, I would greatly appreciate that, just so we can get that going, because sometimes there are some forms and things that we all need to complete to make sure that you are able to have your events. So I'll be reaching out to people, so if I reach out to you, FYI. If you ever need anything, please let me know. I am here to support all of you in any way I can, and I'm always happy to talk. So I hope you have a good meeting.
Comments from the executive branch, or excuse me, the judicial branch.
Hey everyone. So I have a couple things to comment on from the judicial branch. First things first is you have a justice up for nomination tonight. So I've talked to them. I was at Rules, was able to hear their Rules' vetting of a candidate. They are seem perfectly qualified. So it's a Senate's discretion, but I would highly encourage you to confirm them. The Election Commission, Ross or Chase, and none of them are here right now, and they haven't told me anything specifically that they want to announce. So just a general overview. Yesterday was the vice presidential debate. I attended, and it went very well. I'm pretty sure there was decent engagement online and in person for attendance, so it went pretty well. There is the presidential debate on the 23rd this month at 7 in the Great Hall as well. So look forward to that. Statement of intent forms are due February 18th if you're planning to run for Senate, so you still have time to get those in. And if you need to do an information session, if you missed the current ones, there's no more scheduled, but you can set up a one-on-one with Commissioner Opie if you just email him. That's just on the election timeline and on the MIS if you need his email. I think that's it for that business. And then there's more of a personal note. Today is my final meeting. Some of you may already know this. Today's my final meeting as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. I am resigning from the position in order to pursue a Senate seat. So on a more personal note, I just wanted to let everyone know that I've enjoyed being your Chief Justice. It's been an honor, and I look forward to the new chapter in my future in student government. So that's all I've got. And thank you for all your time throughout all the Senate meetings.
Thank you, Andrew. Moving on to comments from the executive branch with President Campbell.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Andrew, thanks for everything you've done. You've been an awesome mentor to everyone in this room and also the countless individuals you've interacted with. So thanks for your work with that. We're excited for you. A couple updates from the executive branch. A shout out to both the Election Commission and then the Sustainability Committee and Director of Sustainability Elizabeth Smith for the Climate Action Town Hall this Monday they hosted, and also the Vice Presidential Debate. We have both of our debaters in the room tonight. Excellent job to both of you, and congrats to the Election Commission for putting that on successfully last night. You did a nice job. Tomorrow, just as a reminder, and I'm happy to answer any questions myself or Speaker Weathers is able to about the special meeting tomorrow. If you will not be in attendance, we are asking you to let myself, Dawson, or Megan know that you will not be in attendance, and then we'll have a check-in sheet tomorrow for those who are there. It will be held at the city auditorium or City Hall auditorium. Details will be in the executive update. Please reach out with any questions, but that's going to be about the independent consultants' research findings regarding a traffic stop study for Ames and Iowa State Police Departments. Marking your calendars for another event. This is a week from today. We're hosting a focus group. We're pegging it as a collaboration with CELT, the Center for Excellence in Learning and Technology. We're going to be talking about the U.S. diversity and international perspectives, as well as inclusive classrooms and what they mean to us as students on campus. That'll be upstairs in room 3560 of the Memorial Union from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. a week from today. So we would love to have everyone in this room there. Again, I'll be sending out an RSVP. It is not mandatory to attend, but your input would be incredibly valued at that meeting. Earlier this week, the four of us from student government here, and we have two GPSS representatives, Finance Director Zastro, Chief of Staff Ludwig, Senator Filippi, and myself met with the Special Student Fees Committee meeting. We'll be voting next Monday on the different fees for the university, and we've spent a lot of time looking at those numbers. We're meeting this Friday to discuss in advance, but if anybody has questions, again, that would be for the upcoming fiscal year 23, and we're going to be talking about a couple different fees there. So just reach out with any questions. Last week, we had a meeting with International Student Council. That was our touch point. Director Sun led that meeting, and as always, he does a fantastic job. Director Booman was present there, and so we had a great conversation about collaboration and projects in both organizations, student government and International Student Council. Earlier today, I met with 2 staff members, full-time staff of the Iowa State Daily. We discussed current projects. It was a follow-up from the presentation by Kylie last week, and she did a really nice job presenting and sharing us. So we always encourage anyone with questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, or feelings to reach out to the Daily. We have our representative here tonight. Kate, thanks for being here. And then Dawson Schmidt, he is a member of the Election Commission. He is our representative on the board for the Iowa State Daily and the Model Farm. So questions can always be directed there. And then finally, last couple housekeeping items. If you know someone that would be a good cyclone aide, Vice President Decker sits on the University Orientation Committee, and the applications are open for the upcoming year. They'll close March 6th. We have a Memorial Union Advisory Board meeting coming up. That survey about what you would like to see in the Memorial Union is still open. I'll send that out again this week. And finally, one final reminder about the Board of Regents free speech survey. If you have not completed it, we encourage you to do so. Share feedback, talk about it with peers on campus, understand and maybe do some self-reflection as to what the training was and if it was impactful in its delivery and whatnot. I'll pause there. Thanks for your attention. Can I answer any questions about any of those updates? Again, more details in the report that'll come out in my email in a few minutes, but more specifically about the special meeting and any logistics for tomorrow. Again, that'll be at 6:00 p.m., City Hall Auditorium, Student Government City Hall joint meeting. Thank you.
All right, moving on to external matters, general orders, 2021-3-006F, funding National Society of Black Engineers with Senator Ruley. I don't believe Senator Ruley is here. Who's Senator Claiborne, excuse me.
If the representative wants to come up, while they go up, it's just we funded travel to and from Anaheim, and then also just did the registration for each member.
Okay, so I just explain what the convention is and what we're going to be doing. So we'll be leaving March 23rd to 27th for the 48th Annual National Society of Black Engineers convention. We do about every year. This is going to be the first time we've been able to go in person for about 2 years. If you guys don't know a little bit about the National Society of Black Engineers, we're one of the largest nonprofit student organizations in the country. We're a national organization. We do a lot of work with we don't specifically just black engineers. We work with anyone can join the National Society of Black Engineers. But yeah, we're going to be doing this convention and yeah. So do I talk about the costs?
So we'll just have people ask questions if that's all right, and then you can answer them. So Senator Seth.
Hi, thank you for coming out tonight and telling us about what it is that you're doing. Could you just talk a little bit about maybe, what some of the events are at the NSBE National Convention? What would students in the organization gain out of going to the conference, that sort of a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a 2-day career fair that's going to be at the convention. There's going to be Google, Apple, Microsoft. It's going to be all types of employers. And then outside of that, there are going to be professional development seminars that they're going to be hosting for the other 3 days.
Okay, yeah, that sounds really, really cool. Do they have any lectures or anything like that as well? Like speakers come in and give talks?
It's sort of like lectures. It's like corporate sponsored seminars. So they talk about LinkedIn professional development or how to do this type of stuff or, all types of stuff. So yeah.
That's really cool. And then just another small question. Is there there's, I guess, is there like a student conference or maybe like student mixers? Because I know a lot of conferences will have stuff like that.
And in regards like how we pick our candidates?
No.
For who's going or?
No. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. Like for example, I went to like a conference like last month. And they had just the overall conference, and then there was kind of a separate mini conference for students as well.
Okay.
Do you know if that's something that's going to happen for student networking and that sort of a thing?
So we have a fall regional conference, but that's not necessarily. It's in our whole region. Our whole region goes all the way through Texas. So we have that in the fall, but we haven't been able to go to that for past few semesters either. So we don't really do anything else at Iowa State in regards to like a conference.
Okay, yeah, that answers my question. That sounds like a really cool opportunity, and I'm very excited for you all to go. I will yield.
Senator Mahoney.
I move to adopt the Finance Committee amendments.
We'll go ahead and go into discussion period on those amendments. Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Go into a voting period on those amendments. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to adding the amendments unanimously? All right, seeing no objections, amendments been added back on the main motion. Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? We'll go ahead and go into a voting period. Since it's a finance bill, we'll do a roll call vote. Please vote yes, nor, or abstain. Advait. Yes. Ulrich. Yes. Recht. Yes. Carter. Yes. Claiborne. Yes. Philippi. Yes. Finaldi. Yes. Haas. Yes. Larson. Yes. Mahoney. Yes. Mays. Yes. McCready. Yes. Patel. Yes. Paulson. Yes. Schnepp. Yes. Seth. Yes. Sayaway. Yes. Stout. Yes. Strickland. Yes. Wegmeister. Yes. Weathers. Yes. Of a vote of 21 to 0, the bill passes.
Thank you.
Moving on to 2021-3-007F, funding Cricket Club with Senator Zuber. Senator Claiborne.
The representative is going up, and then we will just talk about the amendments after.
So we are from Cricket Club. I'm not sure if everyone knows cricket. So it's the second most popular game in the whole world. We got a club here since 2004 or 2006. So we have been participating in national and regional for more than a decade. But due to the pandemic, the national was held and regional was suspended totally. So only a few weeks ago, we came to know that the national going to be hosted. So the fees for the national recently increased. So we asked for some additional funding, and the regional, which is supposed to happen somewhere in Midwest, most probably in Ohio. So we also requested funding for entry fee and transportation. So for these three things, increased national fee and regional transportation and entry fee.
Senator Mahoney. All right, we'll go ahead and go to discussion on those amendments. Speaker Weathers.
Yeah, can someone from Finance Committee explain the amendments?
Yeah, so we, originally there was 3 entry fees, but that was just a miscommunication. So we deleted one, and then we added an entry fee for nationals in Houston, Texas, and then an entry fee for regionals in Columbus, Ohio, because originally that wasn't on the budget. And then we funded the maxi van to Columbus because in their budget they had the maxi van to Texas, but we did not have it for Columbus.
Finance Director Zasser, is it okay if you yield your time? Well, and you can speak anyway, it's your bill, but you can go ahead.
I'll direct the same question to Finance Director Zasser.
Yeah, sorry, a little bit of correction on that. The transportation to Houston was already in their budget in OFP for when they came through annual allocations last year, as was the conference registration for nationals, but it was funded at less than it should have been. We didn't know how many people were going, or we thought that the cost was less. I'm not sure which it was. So that's why there is, so the line item for the entry fee for nationals is in addition to what's already in OFP. And then the new line for transportation to Columbus is for regionals, which was not allocated in OFP.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah, that's clear now. Okay, thank you.
Question has been called for and seconded. We'll go ahead and go into a voting period. This is on the amendments. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to adding the amendment, Finance Committee amendments unanimously? All right, seeing none, the amendments have been added back on the main motion. Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Any closing comments from Senator Claiborne? We'll go ahead and go into a voting period. Please vote yes, no, or abstain. Advait. Ulrich. Richt. Carter. Claiborne. Filippi. Finaldi. Haas. Larson. Mahoney. Mays. McCready. Patel. Paulson. Schnepp. Seth. Sayaway. Stout. Strickland. Wigmeister. And Weathers. Vote of 21 to 0, the bill passes.
Thank you, everyone.
Moving on to internal matters, special orders 2021-3-020 SC, confirming a Supreme Court nomination with Speaker Weathers.
Okay, Shannon, if you'd like to approach the podium. We saw this nominee in Rules Committee, and as I said during the Rules Committee update, there were no problems. We asked about biases, time commitments, sort of our judicial philosophy, any experience, stuff like that. And the Rules Committee saw no problem. I think you'll all find that as well. So if you kind of want to touch on the same things you did in Rules Committee for Senate at large.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shannon Clendenin. I am a sophomore here at Iowa State. I am double majoring in entrepreneurship and English with a minor in criminal justice. I'm currently on the pre-law track to attend law school post-graduation. And I would like to say that I feel I am qualified for this position because last semester, for instance, I took a course over business law. I was introduced to kind of how the government works, certain laws, and understanding them, and I feel very confident in it to the point where I feel I can apply those to a hands-on experience.
Senator Mahoney.
I'll kind of ask some of the questions that we asked during rules. Can you speak to any potential biases you may have as a justice on the Supreme Court and how you may handle said biases?
Yes, so how I would address such biases is I believe that I don't have any, but I believe that working with a team and understanding how everyone feels and going off that would be how I would deal with those.
If you haven't yielded your time, you can keep going.
The other one I'll ask, as Supreme Court nominations are, Supreme Court justices serve, in our sense, for a lifetime. What year are you, and would you consider serving in years after as a Supreme Court justice?
Yes, so currently I'm a sophomore, and I do intend to serve through graduation.
Vice Speaker Advait.
Hi, thanks for coming out tonight. Could you please speak to your level of familiarity with the Constitution, the bylaws, or governing documents that you might be asked to rule on as part of your position?
Yes, so as far as the bylaws and Constitution of student government, yes, so I have had a chance to briefly review those, and I am not too familiar with those yet, understandably, but I am eager to learn, and I'm looking forward to further comprehending those.
No, that's absolutely fair, and this is certainly one of those positions where you sort of pick things up as you go. I'll yield and call the question.
Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? We'll go into a voting period. We already called the question. We already called the question. Any closing comments from Speaker Weathers? We'll go into a voting period. We'll do a placard vote. Unanimous consent has been called for. Any objection to confirming the nominee to the Supreme Court unanimously? All right, seeing none and confirmed. Congratulations. I might want to do swearing in, so we'll just have you hold up at the podium, and then our Chief Justice will make his way up there.
I solemnly swear and affirm
to execute the duties of my position
to execute the duties of my position
as prescribed in the Constitution
as prescribed in the Constitution
and laws of the government
and laws of the government
for the benefit of all students.
for the benefit of all students.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right. Moving on to 2021-3-018 SG, confirming at-large to Student Initiatives Committee with Senator Seth.
Sorry about that. Would the nominee like to approach the podium? Yeah. I'll just talk briefly a little bit about Ella here. So I interviewed Ella for a position as an at-large on our committee on Monday. We had a good conversation. She seems very excited about joining the committee and has a lot of ideas as to things that we can work on and new projects that we can do. And thus far has been already pretty active in the committee, and she's only sat in for like one meeting. So I think she's going to be a great addition to Student Initiatives Committee. But Ella, if you want to talk to people maybe about why you're interested in this committee, some things you want to work on, time constraints, that sort of a thing, previous experience.
Sure. So mental health is very important to me, and I really want to work to make Iowa State an environment where students feel safe and included. And I know the SI committee does a lot of work with that. I would love to work on the Take Back the Night event. We talked a little bit in our meeting that I went to, our first meeting on Monday, about starting up ideas with that. And April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so I would love to work on bringing more awareness to that and making our campus safer, and working with ISUPD and the student body, and just finding ideas on how we can make Iowa State the best environment for the student body that it can be. Previous experience, I was fully online until this semester, so I'm very excited about getting involved in something that I feel is beneficial to campus and the student body and my own experience as well. In high school, I was involved in dance marathon. I was on the public outreach committee for 3 years, so I have some experience with reaching out and just talking to the student body. And yeah, I'm very excited to work with student initiatives.
Senator Mahoney.
I'll just throw my support behind Ella here. She was already a great help in the SI meeting we had on Monday. She also came down and hung out with us in the office a little bit after one of the Senate information sessions on a Friday night. And so we got to know her better, a few of us, and she seems like a wonderful person. And I'm super excited to have her not only be hopefully a member of SI, but also running as a senator for next session. So I'm super excited to have her around and hopefully see more of her in student government.
Thanks, Eddie. Senator Paulson.
Yeah, basically what Eddie said, I've had the pleasure of knowing Ella for 4 or 5, long time. She's a rock star. She's been asking me a lot of questions about just getting involved with student government and stuff over the last week, and she's really excited about this and the potential UROC, but yeah, she's going to do great.
Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Any closing comments? No closing comments? All right, we'll go into a voting period. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to confirming the nominee to Student Initiatives Committee unanimously? Seeing no objections, congratulations.
Thank you.
2021-3-023 SG, seeing at-large members to Diversity and Inclusion Committee with Senator Adegarla. Oh, and Senator Adegarla is on tonight. Would there be Senator Claiborne? Perfect.
If the nominees want to go to the podium and just talk.
Hello, nice to meet everyone. My name is Mary Milosky. I am a second-year psychology major minoring in African American Studies on the pre-law track. Do I need to say anything else, or is that it? Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Gigi, and I'm a sophomore at ISU, and I'm a computer science major.
Hi, everybody. My name is Erilyn Oatman. I am a sophomore in Global Resource Systems in Agriculture and Life Science Education with a minor in French.
We'll just go ahead and do questions, and we can have you come up one at a time and answer if that's okay, if there are any. Vice Speaker Advait.
Hello, thanks for coming out again. Just a couple questions. Could you speak to any passion or interest areas you have, things you might want to work on as a member of the committee? And then the second question I'd have is, could you speak to how you're situated with regards to time, and if you think you will have the ability to uphold the duties of your office over the course of your term?
Yeah, so I am very passionate about out-of-state students. I am from Pennsylvania, so coming to Iowa State was a little bit of a jump for me, and I did feel very accepted, which was really nice, as well as I also represent the George Washington Carver scholar community and the LGBTQ+ community, and so I'm passionate about both of those and helping to build more inclusive environments in classrooms, on campus, and just bringing light to these communities, because I feel like we get a lot of emails every single day, but not necessarily about a lot of the events that we have going on, so that's definitely something I'm passionate about working on. As far as time commitment goes, I have a very flexible schedule this semester, and pretty much always where I'm able to commit as much time as necessary to create the change that I would like to at Iowa State.
For me, I would say I have a similar focus, and I would want to focus on specifically international students and just multiculturalism in general. As an international student myself, I feel like we're just very underrepresented as of being just 0.5% of ISU, and maybe even like in every other university in general. So I feel like the events that I hear of, for example, like from the International Student Council, I feel like there is a good intent, but I don't think there's actual like more work done. There should be more work done, and I feel like I would want to work on that and enhance that. And time-wise, I would want to spend as much time possible and to enhance and make everything better.
Hello. So some of affiliations I'm associated with, I'm a director on the DI committee for CPC, which is College Panhellenic Council, and I'm also part of the NAACP, where I serve as a student government liaison in a sense. So that'll be beneficial in this new role for me. So I'm excited for that. And in terms of D&I, personally, like equity and inclusion are two of my biggest passions. And my goal through this committee is to make Iowa State and Iowa State student body a more equitable and inclusive place for everyone in general, since everyone has so many different identities that intersect and affect their life on a daily basis. And then in terms of time commitment, I won't lie, I'm a very busy person. I'm involved in a lot of different things on campus. But since I know that, I'm able to adequately allocate my time to different positions, and I'm looking forward to doing that. So thank you.
Thank you for coming out again. We're excited to have you here tonight.
Senator Mahoney.
I move to add Senator Rulli to the roll.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, Senator Rulli's been added to the roll. Senator Larson.
Can you guys speak on past leadership positions that will benefit you on this committee?
So within just the last 2 years alone, I served as a Pennsylvania FFA state officer, where I traveled all throughout Pennsylvania and served the over 13,000 members. During that term, I ran over 200 workshops on diversity and inclusion to high school students, so I'm quite familiar with a lot of the concepts, as well as I'm currently serving on the Pennsylvania FFA IDE committee, where I help to create different solutions, assess problems, and work with students of all demographics within Pennsylvania agriculture to give them the best experiences. And then at Iowa State, I am I was an honors leader previously, and so getting to work with a lot of different demographics of students, I've gotten to get to know a lot of the Iowa State population, and I feel that all of these experiences would make me valuable on this committee.
When I was in community college, I served as a international student leader, and that was up until summer of 2020. So actually, this is my my second semester at Iowa State, and what I did in community college is just help international students, guide them, and just give them tips about just how to live around in America in general, and just questions they had in community college, just in general, and yeah.
So currently, I serve as Director of Education for the Cpcdi committee, which basically just consists of creating resources, presentations, and programming within that Greek community. I also serve as the Director of Social Awareness / Social Justice for my sorority, where I basically do the same thing, but in a smaller space. I'm also part of like the NAACP, which I said before, which I serve as a student government liaison, but also in that community, I also help with education and programming, and I also assist the president with stuff as well.
Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Any closing comments from Senator Claiborne? No closing comments. We'll go ahead and go into voting period. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to confirming the nominees to the DEI committee unanimously? Seeing none, all have been confirmed. Congratulations. All right. So we have a couple senator bills up here next. So with those, we're going to have all the candidates be sworn in at the same time. So Chief Justice is going to come back in at the end, if that's all right. So we'll start off with 2021-3-019 SD, sitting senators representing the College of Engineering with the Vice Speaker at 8.
If the two nominees would like to step up to the lectern right now, thank you. Just a little background. We have two current vacant Senate seats for the engineering constituency. ESC made two nominations on Monday. They are now in front of you. I've been working with these people for a while. I think they're great, but I'll let them speak to themselves and their qualifications.
Just talk about my experience and stuff like that from rules. All right. So my name is Max Kuehler. I am currently a junior here at Iowa State, although I'm a transfer student, so this is technically my second semester here. I'm majoring in software engineering as well as getting a minor in German. So if I were to describe myself as a person, I would honestly say that I am very driven to affect change around me and to improve the lives of everyone around me. And I guess just calling into order some of the stuff I've done in my short time here at Iowa State. I was recently elected as the Vice President of Communications for Engineering Student Council, where Carlos here serves as president. So I really think that what that shows is that it doesn't take me long to get involved, and I'm always going to do everything in my power to sort of affect change, and that's really the reason why I'm here. And I guess another important reason that I want to touch on is that since I am new here, I really want to get an understanding about how the institutions and student structures here function and get a better understanding, because I think that's really going to help me to affect change in a more efficient and better method.
Perfect. We'll just have the other candidates say a little bit about themselves and then have the body ask questions if they'd like to.
Hello, my name is Jose Carlos Garcia. I am currently a junior in computer engineering and cybersecurity engineering. I currently serve as the president in the Engineering Student Council, as well as the vice president of technology in the National Association of Engineering Student Councils. And now I'm here before you to hopefully be a Senate member. Mostly, I guess to give you a view of why I'm running to be a senator for this current term, I am currently rewriting our entire constitution within the Engineering Student Council. We've expanded quite a bit ever since I was elected as president. We've added in a few more councils, a few more institutions within our engineering college, and we're pretty well connected now with our student body. And with that, I'd like to make stronger connections with the rest of the organizations on campus. Part of this starts with student government, and I can't really define the senator role within our ESC, or Engineering Student Council, without having an insider's view of the Senate position. So I am mostly here just to get an inside view of the Senate role, but don't mistake that I'm not going to be involved. I am pretty passionate about most of my projects. I don't step into a role unless I think I'm going to do well in that role. I believe here I am pretty passionate about just reaching out, getting to know a lot more people, and just in general, come up with better ways to serve our student body.
Senator Mahoney.
So one of the duties of being senators is that you have to sit on a committee. Is there any committees that you guys have looked at that you'd maybe be interested in being a part of?
Yeah, I guess I can speak a little bit to that. So after I wanted to join rules but realized that was full, I kind of reevaluated. So I wasn't open to student initiatives yesterday, but after looking at it and kind of reevaluating my own goals and ambitions, I do think student initiatives would be a good fit for me, because I think the biggest reason that I personally got involved with Engineering Student Council, or the reason I get involved in any organization, is, like I said, because I'm strongly driven to affect change around me. And I feel like just looking at the role of the Student Initiatives Committee, I think that really fits what I am looking for.
So yesterday I actually answered student initiatives as well. That's more in line with my goals. I like taking initiative with students. I like taking passion projects. I spoke to Advait a little bit about this, but my main draw is mostly just personal security on campus. So that's one of my main passion draws behind that.
Sorry, I'll ask a couple questions. As we are very, very close to the end of this term, and elections are coming up, would you guys be interested, or are you intending to potentially run for a senator in the next cycle?
So currently I'm going to say this, my default answer is going to be yes, and the only reason that would change is if in the time that I am serving as senator, this turns out to be too much or overwhelming for me. At that point, I wouldn't elect to rerun, but as it currently stands, I am definitely intending on running again.
So currently with the National Association of Engineering Student Councils, I am in line to become president within the next year. I intend to be running for president of ESC, and with that, time kind of becomes a main concern. I will say I fully intend on running again, mostly for stability. I know next year is going to be sort of a transitionary period for Engineering Student Council, and I want to leave it in a stable position by the time I leave.
And then last question I'll ask, and it's pretty much just kind of a yes or no. I know both of you are obviously very, very busy with your positions that you hold within Engineering Student Council as well as other organizations. I know you're both also aware of the time commitments that being a senator requires. Are you both willing and able to meet those time requirements?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Senator Seth.
So first of all, I hear that you're interested in student initiatives. Very excited about that. I chair that committee, so we should talk, assuming you get appointed, which we'll see how the vote goes. But my question for both of you, I guess, then is kind of what are some, I know that Jose mentioned kind of getting an insider's perspective on student government, but kind of what are some of the things that you both are interested in doing in student government, whether that be specific focuses or like specific projects or something like that. Could you both speak to that?
So right off the bat, nothing specific comes to mind, but what I will say is that when I take on any sort of new position or enter any sort of new kind of role, it always takes me a little bit to get acclimated because I'm very much a person who likes to see things on a system level. And so it takes me a little bit to get acclimated to that role, that system, and then all of a sudden I'm going to start seeing things I want to change, things I want to address. But if I had to say some of the things that I would definitely be interested in, I am currently setting up a Discord server for Engineering Student Council. So just any sort, not that I'm saying it has to be specifically a Discord server, but anything where I'm facilitating communication between the student body and student government, getting people more aware, because I think we're all aware that not a lot of the student body knows about Engineering Student Council or knows about student government. So just any sort of passion project I would definitely be a part of is increasing communication, increasing awareness, that sort of thing.
So with my roles comes a lot of strategic planning, and as Max said, there's a lot of engagement issues, not just campus on our side of campus, but the entire university as a whole. That's one of the many areas we address in my short term as president. We're currently starting up the idea board, and that's currently just connecting us with every major on campus, on our campus. So one of the initiatives and projects I like to start up is hopefully just getting some sort of central hub towards other student councils. I know I've mentioned this before, but student government doesn't have to be the one that actually makes the change or gets the change to happen, but more so just connects with the people that can make the change happen and gets them in communication with each other.
Yeah, I think those are great responses. And then my second question, which is my last question. I'm not sure how familiar both of you are with Senate and how Senate works, but there's a lot of like weird jargon that is often kind of confusing to people when they first start. So how familiar would you say that the two of you are with things like parliamentary procedure, that sort of a thing? Have you heard the word parliamentary procedure, or?
So I'm not very familiar with it, but I will say that I have a weird interest in politics, like for, I guess, an engineering major. So I do know a little bit about parliamentary procedure. I guess I would have to learn the specifics, but I am broadly familiar with it, and I would definitely be willing to learn.
I feel like with every governing body, there's a type of different naming convention for everything. And over there at ESC, we're not quite upbeat like this, but we're a bit more laid back. So we don't necessarily follow that format, but we do in a sense. So yes, I do understand.
Okay, great. Yeah, I will yield.
Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Any closing comments or Senator debate? No closing comments. We'll go into a voting period. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to confirming the nominees for engineering senator unanimously? All right, see no objections. You've both been confirmed. Congratulations. We will have you stick around. We're going to do all the senators at once with swearing in, so we can just have you sit back here until that point in time. Thank you so much. Moving on to 2021-3-021 SD, seeing a senator representing the College of LAS with Speaker Weathers.
Madeline, if you'd like to approach the podium. It'll essentially be the same process. So I imagine Senate's just curious about your motivations for joining Senate, your qualifications as to why you'd be a good senator, your time commitments, any committees you'd like to be on, anything like that.
Yes, so my name is Madeline Becker. I'm a freshman here, double majoring in economics and political science. I've spent the past couple of months on the PR committee, and that's when I realized I would like to be greater involved with student government by becoming a senator. My experience, the past summer, I worked as a legal assistant at a law firm, and I also campaigned for David Young in 2020. So I have a deep interest in politics, which is why I'm a double major of political science. On campus, I'm involved in the Honors College, Economic Research, and Gamma Phi Beta as the academic chairwoman. So I do have leadership experience here on campus, and I have good communication skills through that position. Time commitment-wise, I have plenty of time to do this. Wednesday nights are yours, and really whenever you need me, I will be here. I do plan to run again next year, so try to continue the stability of the student government.
Senator Finaldi.
I just want to say that it's been a blast working with Madeline on the PR committee. She's a great member. She's always there, and she's very, very helpful. And yeah, so please vote for her.
Senator Mahoney.
Well, I would ask what committee you would be interested in joining part of, but I think I already kind of know the answer to that one, and the body does as well. But I will kind of ask the same question. Would you be interested in running as a senator for next election cycle?
Yes.
Perfect. And as we kind of discussed in rules, you kind of know what all the time commitments of a senator are requiring. Is there any conflicts, or do you think you'll be willing and able to do all of the time with like committees and office hours and everything else?
Yes, I'm willing and able.
Second.
Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Go ahead and go into closing comments. Speaker Weathers, no closing comments. Go into a voting period. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to confirming the nominee for LES Senator unanimously? Great. Seeing none, being confirmed. Congratulations. Okay. We'll have you actually stay up at the podium. We'll invite the new engineering senators up as well. And Chief Justice is here, so we can do all of them at once, swearing them, all of them. And then all of you can go ahead and take a seat in the inside tables once you're finished.
Would you three please repeat after me? I solemnly swear or affirm
I solemnly swear or affirm
to execute the duties of my position
to execute the duties of my position
as prescribed in the Constitution
as prescribed in the Constitution
and laws of the government
and laws of the government
for the benefit of all students.
for the benefit of all students.
Congratulations.
Speaker Weathers,
Move to add Senators Becker, Garcia, and Kuehler to the roll.
any objection? All right, been added to the roll. Moving on to 2021-3-017 SG, reconfirming a senator to Student Initiatives Committee with Senator Seth.
Howdy, folks. So this bill is purely procedural. Basically, what it is doing is Senator Mays was formerly an at-large on Student Initiatives Committee, and then we voted her in as a senator. And technically, when we did that, since we didn't include a clause saying like she would retain her membership on SI committee, she's technically no longer a member of Student Initiatives Committee. Obviously, Senator May still wants to be a member of Student Initiatives Committee and was voted vice chair of the committee last week. So we would like to keep her on the committee. So basically all this bill does is essentially put her back on the committee officially so that I can actually include her on the roster, and that when we vote on things, she can actually vote because she's a recognized member. And then the second to last ordered clause also essentially has the Senate body vote to approve to let her resume her position as vice chair, because also since she's technically not on the committee, she's technically not our vice chair. So basically it's just reconfirming her to things that we've already voted her to. So if you have any questions, I know it's kind of complicated, you can direct them to me or Vice Speaker Advait, because Advait would probably know. So yeah, it's just a procedural. She's already been confirmed before on the committee. So yeah, I yield.
Second.
Question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Any closing comments from Senator Seth? No closing comments. We'll go into a voting period. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to confirming the nominee for the Senator to Student Initiatives Committee unanimously? Great, seeing none. Been confirmed. Moving on to, you can clap.
Yay!
Moving on to 2021-3-022 SG, electing a senator to the SIRIDE Board of Trustees with Speaker Weathers.
Okay, so this is an opportunity for us to appoint somebody to this position. With the resignation of Senator Rios-Martinez, there's now an opening, and this is an important position, so anyone who's interested in having a say in how an important institution here at Iowa State runs, the SIRIDE is, I'm sure, Chief of Staff Ludwig is gone, what a conversation for him to not be here for. But if anyone is interested in nominating someone to fill this line, nominating themselves to fill that line if you think that you're qualified to do so, yeah, I move to open the floor for nominations.
Second.
Seeing no objections, the floor is now open for nominations. Senator Finaldi.
I'd like to nominate Senator Claiborne.
Do you accept?
Yeah.
I think someone has to yield due time, but we can do that quick. Senator Brecht, yep.
Was it communicated that Cyride, they are looking for a representative that would sit for 2 terms, so someone who would likely be there this year to end out the term? Thank you. And then also next year as well. So that is something that they have high interest in terms of the length of what's left of this term.
All right, the floor is still open for nominations. Is there any more nominations? Is there a motion to close the floor? Great. Close the floor for nominations and can I have. All right, I'm going to invite Senator Claiborne up to the podium. Tell us a little bit why you want to be the Cyride board appointee.
Okay, I have a little speech prepared. So, hi everyone. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kit Claiborne, and I'm currently double majoring in animal ecology and biology. Even though my love for Cyride isn't as public as Chief of Staff Ludwig, I admire Cyride and what it has to offer everyone on campus. As a second-year student who does not have a car, Cyride has helped me on my weekly grocery runs as well as save me from running late to classes. Without Cyride, I wouldn't be able to get around Ames easily at all. As someone who hates bothering people for rides, Cyride has always been there to pick me up and take me to my destination with ease. For 2 semesters, I worked at the Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, which is, if you don't know, it's past Jack Trice Stadium, so it's not a close place for someone who doesn't have a car. The only way I was able to accept this wonderful opportunity was because I could rely on transportation with Cyride. 9 Plum goes directly to and from vet college and held an important role in furthering my lab experience and my career endeavors. Even though this is a small hurdle I had to jump, Cyride indirectly helped me choose what I want to do in the future. The biggest thing that I have to thank Cyride for is just being there when I needed a mental break from the college experience. Last year, I'd hop on 3 Blue, which is right outside Maple Hall. It would take me to Target and to Walmart where I could walk around and de-stress from my classes and the pandemic. The thing that I would love to do if I had the opportunity to be appointed to the board is to work with the City of Ames and Cyride to increase lighting around Cyride stops near off-campus apartments. Last semester, I got into contact with a constituent who was concerned for their safety because there is not enough lighting near their bus stop. As an off-campus senator, it is my duty to help the people that need it, and this is something very important to me. Safety for people living on and off campus is very important, and having the opportunity to be appointed to this board will allow me to further this conversation for the future so that all off-campus residents feel safe. I will also just like to state my time commitments to put everyone at ease. The Cyride meetings are monthly from 4 to 5, and I currently am free every single week during this time. Thank you.
Second.
The question has been called for and seconded. Any objection to voting now? Go into a voting period. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to adding the name Claiborne to the blank? Right? Seeing no objections, been added. Now we're going to vote on the bill as a whole. Question has been called for. Seconded. Any objection to voting now? Any closing comments? No closing comments. We'll go into a voting period. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing the bill unanimously? All right, seeing no objection, it's been passed. Congratulations, Kit. Moving on to new business, 2021-3-010Y, permitting an effective pathways to Senate involvement, or PEPC, with Vice Speaker Debate.
Hi, I'm just your hyper-local pseudo-governmental official coming up with snazzy acronyms for bills. So this really is a bill that tries to fix a problem we've seen with the way we fill seats between elections as it stands right now. As the whereas clauses really state, there have been and currently do exist constituencies without a functioning constituency councils, and what that really means is if the senators representing those constituencies were to leave their positions, we really have no way to fill those seats, like at all, until the next election. So essentially what this bill does is if there is a constituency council that is unable, unwilling, or otherwise just incapacitated in making nominations, it still lets us add interested students to Senate so they can be on Senate before elections, and then maybe, hey, they'll love Senate and they'll run in the elections. I see this as an overall win-win. If you have any questions, please let me know. I yield.
Any questions of intent for Vice Speaker Advait? Great. Seeing none, we'll move on to 2021-3-011F, funding the room reservations for mental health first aid training with Senator Mahoney.
Hey everyone, took me long enough to get this bill to the Senate floor. I don't know, some of you have probably heard me talk about it. I've mentioned it Senate before. Some of you are probably quite familiar with what this is, but basically, I'll give a quick rundown. At the Joint City Council meeting last semester, they talked about mental health first aid, and that was something that they were doing for the citizens of Ames. But I and a couple other senators thought it would be a great idea to bring that to the students of Iowa State so that it was more central on campus so that people could go do it more easily. So I've been working over the last couple of months to start getting the ball rolling with that with Kinsey Phillips, the mental health coordinator from ISUPD. Essentially, this is just funding the fees for the rooms where we would be hosting the events. They would happen on Sundays from 1 to 5 p.m. We're hoping the South Ballroom. We might actually save money if we end up in this room, just depending on how the room reservations actually break down. But it's just $110 per time, and we would do the 2 events. So that right now we're looking at February 27th and March 27th. The other nice thing about the event is that we would still have food and catering at the event, but ISUPD has offered to pay for that in full. So they've pretty much just asked if we can fund the room reservations, which is $220. So we'll see that next week in finance and vote on it next week. If you have any questions over the next week, please feel free to reach out to me.
Are there any questions of intent for Senator Mahoney? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to closing announcements. Please raise your placard if you have a closing announcement. Senator Seth.
Howdy, folks. This is just a friendly reminder that the Give a Swipe donation period is active and will be closing on, I think, this Friday, the 11th. So I think sometime on Monday, you should have got an email from Iowa State Dining basically asking you to donate any of your flex meals or any of your dining dollars to help fight food insecurity on campus. And I also sent an email out about, this was last week, about, I can send it out again, but about tabling outside of dining halls. There's 2 more days of tabling for Give a Swipe donation periods. So if you're interested in just taking an hour out of your day to table outside of one of the dining halls and talk to students about donating some of their meals to help fight food insecurity on campus, let me know and I can shoot you the Sign Up Genius link for that, and that would be great. And yeah, remember to donate any dining dollars or flex meals if you can. It's a really great cause. It helps students who are food insecure. So yeah, donate to Give a Swipe.
Senator Stout.
Okay, I'm going to say this week because next week I'll be gone. But if any of you guys are bored, Saturday, February 19th, this is a personal type of interest of mine that I would love to see all of you come visit. The Iowa Beef Expo is going on. And so if you want to see me personally lead my cow around all fitted up with hairspray and paint in it, come visit, come watch. It's a very interesting show, and I'm pretty sure most of you have not seen a cattle show. So that's Saturday, February 19th. It's at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. It's in Des Moines. It doesn't cost anything to get in. So personally, I would like to see most of you come watch a cattle show because I think your mind would be blown, especially you, Mason. But yeah, that's just something to do Saturday, February 19th if you're bored.
All I could think of when you were saying that is the Iowa Cattleman's beef, it's what's for dinner. I was going to say that, but I was like, is there enough people in this room that are going to echo it back? I don't know. All right, we'll go back on the column in the back, starting with Finance Director Zastro.
I will try and be there. It is a very fascinating event. I remember in class we had together last semester, most of the time on her computer was spent looking at pictures of cows. So there better have been a good one somewhere in there. All I got to say, it's a tradition for the hours and hours that Finance Committee pours into annuals. If you all could help out your senators and your at-larges on the committee for some of those longer days, if you want to bring in any food for us, we are always grateful. A couple years ago, Kelsey Colbertsman was really proud of a green bean casserole she made. Last year, class bought like 24 donuts on the same day that Ludwig brought us also 24 donuts. It was a wild day. Yeah, so if you feel so generous as to be bringing us some food, especially on those longer Tuesday nights, we would be super grateful for it. And if you don't want to give us food, I cannot control you.
Is there any other closing announcements on the back table there? Oh, roll closed, yes, of course, and horns down. All right, going along, Vice Speaker Debate and Speaker Weathers now for closing announcements.
Yes, so welcome to our new senators, our new nominees, and our new SciRite representative. We're excited to have you. For our new senators, we're here for you if you have any questions. I understand the on-ramp onto Senate can be a little confusing sometimes. Speaker Weathers and myself, we're here to help. Please email us. We're in the office a fair amount. Feel free to stop by, talk to us. Also, speaking of the office, we'll try to get you access to that as soon as we can so you can join us in having lunch or working on homework together. Other than that, please report completed office hours if you forgot, so that way I'm not reporting missed hours that were actually done to Speaker Weathers. And also remember to complete your hours this week. Other than that, please send me feedback. I genuinely like to be the best version of myself I can be in fulfilling my role, so please do reach out if you have anything to say. And also from an organizational standpoint, if you have any feedback, please let either Speaker Weathers or myself or any of the chief officers know what's great, what's not as great, things that you think can be improved to help us work better and serve students better. That's really all I have. Other than that, have a wonderful night.
Yeah, congratulations again to the new senators. I think myself and everyone in here looks forward to seeing what you're able to accomplish and how you behave as senators, I guess. Housekeeping stuff, outreach credits, be sure to get those done, especially in light of how few students know about us. Outreach credits are more important than ever. So if you have completed your outreach credits already, please be sure to email me or text me or Snapchat me, whatever. If you haven't done those yet, be sure to reach out to PR committee or just look for any sort of way you can participate in outreach. Tomorrow we have the special meeting, as President Campbell said. A special meeting is essentially a regular meeting. You're required to go unless excused. And the reason we called it as a special meeting, we called it to require everyone to attend, is because our relationship with the city is particularly important. They respect us a lot for whatever particular reason. And that's a relationship we want to uphold and make sure we're putting a lot of resources in, including our time. And I don't think that they would be calling us to a meeting about a survey about racial biases within the police department unless there's something tangible there to report on. So I imagine it'll be an important meeting to attend. On the same note, talking about the city, members of Civic Engagement Committee, if you'd like to come and talk to me after the meeting tonight, I have some thoughts about the local affairs committee that's still going on. Last thing I have here, I very much, if not the students, if not anybody else, I very much appreciate the time that all of you put into student government. Serving students is a noble goal, like I said in the legislative packet. I know all of you in here individually are very busy, so the fact that you spend any portion of it serving students is very respectable, so I applaud you all. I don't think I have anything else. Go Cyclones, move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Seeing no objection, this meeting is adjourned.
Yeah.